Hello, my name is Nancy Rebecca, and I am one of the founders for Intuitive Mind, and just want to share a little bit about me personally. My formal training was as a registered nurse, which I worked in intensive care, open heart recovery, and hospice nursing for 20 plus years. It was when I was a hospice nurse that I had a spontaneous out-of-body experience. I was at home, simply purchased a book on how to meditate to see if that could help bring some peace to my life. It was in around 1992, and I was married and I had my kids that were entering into their teens and working full-time and managing the house and managing all the activities that the kids go through. And so I thought, well, this meditation book should be just perfect to help give me enough energy so that I could keep going. And so I read the first chapter of the book, which said, light a candle, put on some lovely music, take some deep breaths. And so I proceeded to do that. And I sat in the quiet after all my family had gone to bed. And after about 5 minutes, I thought, okay, I think that's a good first start. So I'm going to go ahead and go to bed. So I proceeded to go upstairs, put on my pajamas, climb into bed, and just laying there kind of unwinding from the day, letting things go, letting my body relax. And then suddenly it was just like a flash of light. And I always tell my students it's kind of like the movie Groundhog's Day, where suddenly the whole day has just began again. And for me, it began again by me standing next to my bed. And when I looked down, I saw that there was someone laying in the bed next to my husband and immediately assumed it was my 14-year-old son. And so went to reach down to wake him up, completely forgetting that I had just gone to bed and completely forgetting that I saw a flash of light. So when I went to reach down to place both my hands on his back to wake him up, my hands went completely through the body. And as soon as that happened, I was aware that it wasn't actually my son at all, that it was me that was lying there. This actually, for a lot of people who consider out-of-body experiences and want to take courses and read books and that they're quite curious about it, for me it was quite a frightening experience. And in actuality, I haven't really talked about it that much. It's been over 20 years and I still haven't shared with too many people the experiences that I had. But I did learn a lot. I learned a lot about myself. But ultimately, after that first night, when I woke up, what ended up happening was I could see energy. I could see auras. I could see chakras. I could hear people's thoughts. They're having a conversation with me and I can hear them going over the grocery list that they must take care of as soon as they get off of work. And I could see their loved ones, spirits behind them. And so for me, you have to understand, I had never even consulted a psychic before. I hadn't even had friends that did this type of work. And so, yeah, it was quite a shock to me. I always tell my clients and my students and friends, it's like, I didn't even know that I was a spirit. I was living life just like everybody else, working, with my husband on marital things and trying to figure out, how to keep your kids happy and keep balance in the household and how to be a wife and a mother as well as a hospice nurse, which I was at the time. So like I said, it was quite a shock to suddenly see energy fields and have that entire dimension opened up to me as I walked through my day-to-day life. So what I did was I just kind of pretended. I kept pretending that I couldn't see anything, and I really kept it secret and quiet for a couple of weeks. Didn't even tell my husband because inside there was a part of me that was in some ways thinking that I might be crazy. I might have lost my mind. And you have to understand too, both my parents are doctors. So my father's a medical doctor and my mother is a clinical psychologist. And so finally I went to talk to them, and the two of them tried to help me sort things out. So I went through several weeks of every time I went to lay down and close my eyes, the flash of light would come and I would be out of my body again. One of these days I'll share the whole story and some of the experiences that I had. They were quite wild, and they most certainly didn't fit into what I considered a normal life. So I was pretty anxious for it to be done, be over with, and anxious to find somebody who could help me to resolve this problem. I'm quite a practical person by nature. I wouldn't consider myself too skeptical. Definitely I couldn't be skeptical when I could see the energy fields. So to kind of make a very long story short, let's see, this has been somewhat 20 years later, and now I work full-time as a psychic. I work full-time as a healer and as a medium, as well as have developed intuitive development programs. We have a psychic mastery program, and we work also with advanced students. So yeah, it's been kind of a crazy ride in these past 20 years of a personal journey and personal learning. So let me, just before I finish up with this little clip, I just want to talk about my passion and how my passion has evolved. Is that we are a spirit, we are a soul. We just happen to have a human body. And that first night when I touched my human body, it felt just as inanimate as my car sitting in my garage. It just had no life to it, and that was what I found, the same thing with my body. And what I realized was it's when our spirit is in our body that we come to life, that we have our true personality comes through when our spirit's in our body. I also learned that the body's fully capable of functioning at some pretty basic levels without our spirit being in our body. Driving a car, even some basic interactions with people, eating, walking, even making some basic decisions. But truly, life starts to open up for you when you can learn to integrate your soul's light into your physical light. My other passion is about energetic health. What I began seeing was imbalances in the energy field. And as soon as the person was able to bring their aura and chakras and other energy channels into balance, then their whole life changed. Not just their physical health, but their emotional, mental, and spiritual health as well. And then on top of that, the families would come into balance. Their workplace would come into balance. And so it's kind of a big deal. And so that's my passion. I always say psychics are very much like nurses, where a nurse can choose to work as a labor and delivery nurse, as an intensive care nurse like I did, or a hospice nurse, or orthopedics, or elderly care, or pediatrics. So there's a lot of different fields that once you have that baseline training, that you can choose which specialty you want to express your abilities in. So being a psychic is the same thing. And I just want to say that the root word for psychic, the Greek root word, means soul. So a psychic reader basically is someone who connects in with you at that soul level and does the reading at the soul level. So my passion is the health of the energy field, Are you functioning at your optimal level for where you are at this point in your life? And if not, why not? And then we go from there. So I invite you to look all through our website, to click on all the links and take the time to really read through things and notice how it touches you or awakens you or inspires curiosity, which is one of the main ingredients for great intuitive development. So I welcome you all. I look forward to meeting you all either online or in person at our office, and have a great time.